Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Steven, the Laggy Gamer. I'm back with another discussion video. Yes, I'm putting out so many videos these days, but back with another discussion video. I finished the second game that I wanted to complete this summer in my summer backlog challenge, and that game is none other than Luigi's Mansion for the Nintendo GameCube. A game that was a launch title for the Nintendo GameCube, and this is the first chance I ever actually sat down and tried to play the game and play it all the way through. I was just in one of those moods where it was the time for it. You know how you get in a certain mood for a game, you don't want to play a shooter, you don't really want to play an RPG. I was just in the perfect mood for a game like this, but how do you really describe a game like this? Because Luigi's Mansion isn't like your traditional Mario style game. You know, we all hear of it, we're like, oh, Luigi's Mansion, it's probably going to have some platforming, boss fights, stuff like that, where there's no platforming in this game. It's complete opposite of that. It's kind of like a toned down survival horror game, and I love survival horror games, and that's kind of what this is classified as. It has a Resident Evil-esque feel to it, where you're going from one room to find a key to get to another room, and that's pretty much how the game plays. But before we get into gameplay, we'll start this out with the story. I'm pretty much, and what I'll do is I'll just read the little insert from the magazine here, because that'll probably describe it best from the actual manual in the game. It says, one day Luigi received an unexpected message. He won a huge mansion. Naturally, he got very excited and called his brother Mario. Mario, it's me, Luigi. I won myself a big mansion. Meet me there and we'll celebrate. What do you say? Luigi tried to follow the map to his new mansion, but the night was dark and he became hopelessly lost in an eerie forest along the way. Finally, he came upon a gloomy mansion on the edge of the woods. According to the map, this mansion seemed to be the one Luigi was looking for. As soon as Luigi set foot in the mansion, he started to feel nervous. Mario, who should have arrived first, was nowhere to be seen. Not only that, but there were ghosts in the mansion. Suddenly, a ghost lunged at Luigi. Mario, help me. And that's when a strange old man with a vacuum cleaner on his back appeared out of nowhere. This strange fellow managed to rescue Luigi from the ghost, and the two of them escaped. It just so happened that the old man, Professor Elvin Gadd, who lived near the house, was researching his favorite subject, ghosts. Luigi told Professor E. Gadd that his brother Mario was missing, so the professor decided to give Luigi two inventions that would help him search for his brother. Luigi's not exactly known for his bravery, can he get rid of all the prank-loving ghosts and find Mario? So pretty much to sum that up, Luigi goes to this mansion, and there wind up being ghosts there. And this professor, if I can get a zoom in on him, Professor Gadd, he kind of rescues him from the ghosts, and he equips Luigi with this vacuum cleaner called the Poltergeist 3000. And what that vacuum cleaner will do is suck up all the ghosts that are near you. It can also take on other abilities, but I'll get into that with gameplay. And he also gives him another handy device called the some kind of Game Boy radar thing. I forget what it's called, but it looks like a Game Boy, and it works as your radar. It keeps total of the money and gold and stuff you find throughout Luigi's Mansion, and it also gets to a point in the game where it helps you locate a certain set of ghosts, but I'll also tell about that later in the gameplay. So as far as the story, that's pretty much it. You're in this mansion and you need to find Mario. Turns out that Mario is trapped in a painting, so you got to try to find a way to get him out of this painting and help save him. Along the way, you're going to meet ghosts, some interesting characters. They each have a unique personality of their own. You start off in a room in the mansion that has a bunch of blank portraits. When you capture a boss ghost, you'll kind of get their portrait, and it'll hang up in this room letting you know, like, hey, you defeated me, and here's proof of it. So there's many of these ghosts throughout the game. I forget the total. I know it's at least over 20. I forget the total of the ghosts that are in there. But yeah, so travel around the mansion, try to save Mario, and that's pretty much the gist of it. And then I'll just go on to the gameplay, because that's just how simple the story is. The gameplay is with Luigi, like I said, you have the Poltergeist 3000, and you have different ghost types throughout the stages and throughout the mansion. You have weaker ghosts, where when you run into a ghost, it'll show their heart, and it'll have a number. over the ghosts, and it's normally 10, 20, 30, 40. I think the highest normal ghost I saw was 40. Then when you get up to boss ghosts, they're always at 100. So you wander around. Every time you go into a room, it's dark. And you walk around the room until you pretty much suck up all the normal ghosts that are in the room, and the room will turn light. That means you clear the room, and most of the time a chest will drop from the sky, and you'll have a key that'll open up a door to the next room you need to go in. And the game really kind of holds your hand as far as letting you know where you need to go next. As far as when you get a key, the next thing it'll do is go up to the map screen and show you the door that you need to go to on the map. That'll unlock it. So it kind of guides you around, let you know where to go. Like I said, this is a launch title game, so they're probably just trying to get you to feel the game, customized with used to the controls, and just wanted you to get accustomed with everything with the system probably. So they kind of held your hand in this game. But it didn't deter anything for me, because there is some side exploring you can do, a couple hidden rooms and stuff like that, where you can kind of venture off and do your own thing. But yeah, the different ghost types, basically what you do is you suck them up in your vacuum cleaner by, when you see a ghost, you control a flashlight in the game with B on the controller. If you hold down B, your flashlight will turn off, but right when you let it go, it'll turn back on. So it kind of tells you when you see a ghost, you want to keep your flashlight off, and when you see it, turn it back on, and that'll kind of stun it, surprise the ghost. And you'll see their heart, and that's when you can begin to hold down the right trigger button and start sucking the ghost into your vacuum cleaner. And the way you do that is you hit R, and you just want to keep the air on the whole time, and kind of move your stick in the opposite direction that the ghost is trying to fly, to try to help it get sucked in faster, and the C stick kind of work together with the controls to get the ghost sucked in faster. That was kind of a downfall for me with just the simplest thing with the game that would have made it so much easier to play for me, is if I could have had a choice to switch the C stick from being inverted or not, because that was a pain in the butt having when I hit down it would go up, and hitting up and go down. Eventually I got used to it, but the game's kind of short, and I think I finished it in 5 hours, so it's not like, that wasn't really no time for me to get acclimated with it. But it wasn't a huge deter from the game, but just something that simple would have been nice to be able to switch it from being inverted. But yeah, you just try to suck up all the ghosts in the room, clear the room, it'll give you a key or an item to just get unlocked to the next room, and that's pretty much how it goes, just solving little puzzles like that. Sometimes you might have to suck a painting off of a wall, open up an area to get to, or a secret area or something, and that's pretty much how it works until you eventually lead to one of the ghosts that have, or another variety of the normal ghost. You'll eventually unlock elements to the Poltergeist 3000. What that is, with the L trigger, instead of sucking in, you would be blowing out an element. It's either water, fire, or ice. And you can get a fire element from candles and fire in a fireplace. You can get water elements from pails, and ice elements from wherever there's ice at. So you'll get these elements, and you'll run into elemental ghosts, and you'll use the element that'll pretty much trump that ghost element in order to weaken them, then do the whole flashlight deal and suck them into the poltergeist. They weren't ever much trouble fighting. It's not a big hindrance at all with the elemental thing. I guess they kind of threw in there, but I didn't really run into many elemental ghosts period in the game. I didn't have to use it that many times. Most of the time I was using the elemental stuff for a puzzle in a room or something. And puzzles in the rooms aren't that tough. They're mediocre at best. You're not going to rack your brain trying to figure out these puzzles. About halfway through the game, you kind of figure out who's under all this and doing all the conspiracy and everything with the mansion. That's a King Boo. And in one part of the game you actually free a bunch of little boos, smaller versions. These boos are another, well, I want to say they're an extra / mandatory thing you want to go after. What happens after you let them loose? The boos will scatter throughout the mansion. You're even going to want to go back to rooms you visited before to see if they're in there. And your little Game Boy thing you got has a radar on the top of it that'll blink. Blue if the area is clear, yellow if there's something nearby, and red if you're right up on top of it. There's 50 of these boos, and what you're going to want to do is find every boo in the game so you can get a bonus item at the end. But also, there is one part in the game where you actually cannot activate a boss fight unless you have at least 20 of them. So you got to make sure you are trying to get these boos in the rooms you're in. They're not tough to find or anything. One problem you do run into of those is their HP does vary. It can start off at 40 or 50, and near the end of the game some of them have 200 HP. I think I saw one with 300 near the end of the game. And what will happen is you'll be trying to suck this boo up, and they're not like normal ones. These things will actually escape from your air area, and they'll leave the room. And you can leave the room with them and chase them in the hallway. They'll be in the hallway from the room they ran out in the same direction. But sometimes they'll wander into a room that you haven't opened yet. So that can get kind of frustrating when you're like, I can't get in that room yet. I gotta get a key to get this boo. But it didn't happen often, and it only happened near the end game where they're actually really high HP, so they're escaping from you a lot. But other than those having HPs, like I said, you have the portrait ghosts. Portrait ghosts are really unique. You'll go into a room, it could be two baby twins that you're going against. It could be an old lady you're going against. And they all have a certain way of capturing them. So it really gave a bunch of little mini boss fights that was really awesome to try to figure out how you could capture these ghosts, because a lot of times you just can't look at them and then start sucking them in your hose. You had to kind of trick them into showing their heart, then stun their heart with the flashlight, then suck them in, and trying to figure out the different ways of getting them stunned between all the different ghosts. It was really fun, and the fights with them was fun. And they're all really unique characters. Weightlifters, like I said, old ladies, girl who wets the bed. I mean, there's so many in the game, so it's really fun trying to capture those. There are boss fights in the game, though. After the game's kind of divided up into areas, then it resets you in the portrait room once you clear a boss, and you have 3 areas with 3 bosses, and then the 4th area is the final boss, King Boo. So the game is divided up where you do have bigger boss battles that aren't like the portrait mini bosses. It's a full-on boss fight. You get transported to a different area, and you'll be able to tell when it's a boss fight when you get there. They're pretty inventive, pretty crazy. 3rd area had a kind of pain in the butt boss fight. I won't get into it, but you'll see when you find out and play the game. Then the King Boo fight for the final one. Oh, I think I had to play the game or play that fight 4 or 5 times before I finally beat it. But I was successful eventually and beat it. After you practice with it, you get it down. That stupid inversion on the C-stick. But after you do the fight a couple times, you get used to it. The only bad thing is it keeps resetting you in front of a cutscene, and you can't save before, so you gotta go through the cutscene before you can do the fight again. But anyway, little hindrance, and the fight was really good. So all in all, it was really great game. I had got up during the end credits because it gives you a score, it can give you a ranking after all the money and stuff you collect in the game, if you find any secrets or anything. And I actually got up to take my dog out to use the bathroom during the credits, figured it was going to take a while. And when I got back to the screen, it already went by my ranking, so I didn't know what I got. So I kind of went online to see what kind of ranking you would get. And how it determines it is kind of near the end, depending on how much gold and money you get, how the rank you get. Luigi's mansion, the mansion will transform into your mansion that it was supposed to look like with the money you got from inside the mansion. It'll transform into a nice pretty mansion, and depending on your rank determines the size of it and everything from what I get. And I'm guessing from the money I got, since I completed everything in the game, I probably would have got an A rank, but oh well, who knows. So yes, don't wait like I did. Play this game now. You probably all played. I'm probably the last person on earth who hadn't played this game yet. But if you hadn't, please give it a try. It's a wonderful game. You can find it real cheap now. It's not that expensive. The environments are great. The sound for the game is great. It really fits the atmosphere of the game. The characters, the ghosts in it were really creative and fun. And the gameplay is pretty fun and addicting. So give the game a try. Get ready for Luigi's Mansion 2 coming out this holiday season. That's going to be fantastic. My only thing I hope they do is they can use the Circle Pad Pro and kind of give us a choice to not have the inverted controls. So hope they work something out in that area, but if they don't, I'll still get it anyway. Fantastic game. It's not really long. Like I said, 5-6 hours, you can knock it out, and it's well worth it. So thank you for watching. Play Luigi's Mansion, and we are lagging out.